Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's great to see so many people. I haven't seen a lot of you since yesterday, so it's good to see you. We've been working hard and meeting hard. A couple things I need to do. One is I said to the county legislature, I hope they I just got my new county executive jet. So I want you to know that I know you're still flying in a propellered plane, but you can. It's yours. It's not. Believe me, before you go that one, it's not ours. Okay, we borrowed it for today. I want to make a few acknowledgments of people that are here today. This is exciting. Obviously, the governor's here, and you're going to hear from the governor. I want to recognize Tom Elmira, our senator, who will be speaking today. Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. Assemblyman Christopher Friend. Corning Mayor Richard Negri. Elmira Mayor Dan Mandel. Town of Big Flats Supervisor Ed Fairbrother. Our Budget Director for New York State, Robert Mahica. And you'll be hearing from, I believe, Commissioner Driscoll as we go on with the program. I just want to say a couple of things. And, we all get talking points, and this is one I certainly looked at, but I know exactly what I want to say. We here in the Southern Tier were promised by this governor that he was going to help us get back on our feet. I'm native to this area. I was born here in 1949. I've been county exec for 17 years now, served as deputy for 9, was a councilman for 10 years. I've watched us go forward, backwards, 2 steps forward, 2 steps backward. We've been all over the place, good times and bad. But the Southern Tier has been impacted. And again, this governor said that he was going to make a difference. And I say it to you, Governor, you went 1,000 times beyond what I ever would have imagined for the Southern Tier. I mean, think about this. 4 out of 5 times CFA first place winners. And we've put that money to work and will continue to put that money to work. Upstate Revitalization Initiative, $500 million for 8 counties. Unbelievable, and thank you very much. The DRI for downtowns, $10 million. Put those numbers together and all those CFA monies, it is millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and now it's up to us to perform with it. And I think we're doing it. I really believe it. Some people have asked, why a competition? Why are we competing? I got to tell you, at first I thought that, for whatever it's worth, I think it's the smartest thing you could have done. You forced us to be creative, to work together, to go out there and not just say, give me $500 million and I'll do something with it. Believe me, you're making us perform. And it's what you should do. And thank you again very much. We'll put that money to work. It's all related. And I'm just going to say this, and Danny Mandel's mayor, sitting right there. And I said this to the governor because it's all related to what we're trying to do in the Southern Tier. The governor has made it very clear, too much government, we've got to work together. As you know, the city, the county, the towns have been doing things together. And I said to the governor, we want to be the town and the city and the county that merge our administrations. We've started and we're committed to it. We are going to be a leader in what needs to be done. And finally, Governor, this is a little offbeat, but I want to say this because this weekend when I turned on my television after the tragedy in New York City, what people look for when something like that happens is somebody that takes command, tells us what happened, to thank God for our first responders. But I just want to say it. It was good to see somebody in command to tell us what needed to be done and get it done. Great job this weekend. And with that, it's my pleasure to invite up here the governor of the state of New York, Andrew Cuomo. And I fall off the stage. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you very much.
Well, good morning, and it is a beautiful morning, and it is a great day in more ways than one. First, to your county executive, who is doing an extraordinary job, as you know. I'm very excited about, we just chatted about the possible sharing of services, reduction of government, and consolidation. I'll tell you, that is the way we have to go. We have too much government in the state of New York. The local taxes have been chasing people from this state for too long. It takes creativity, it takes leadership. It's hard, but it is exactly right. And on today, we have good news. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. If it was bad news, I'd let the commissioner come alone. It is good news, and it is good news because the county executive and the airport team have done an outstanding job. Let's give them a round of applause. We have Commissioner Matt Driscoll, who's doing a great job at DOT. He's the former mayor of Syracuse, so he knows Upstate, and he knows what Upstate needs. He had a vision from day one to rebuild Upstate airports, because he knows how important they are in this new economy. And today's program is a product of his good work, so let's give the commissioner a round of applause. And you're going to hear from Senator O'Mara and Assemblyman Palmisano. This program wouldn't happen if it wasn't for our partnership with the legislature. We look at what's going on with politics in this country, and all too often you have partisan politics that actually frustrates any progress, and they wind up fighting politically and nothing happens. In Albany, we don't agree on everything, but we agreed to leave the politics at the door and work together to do what's right for the people of this state. And we have done that, and we've done that on this program and this investment in upstate New York. So I want to thank them very much. Senator O'Mara and Phil Palmisano, let's give them a round of applause. The county executive said it. The Southern Tier has had economic difficulties for a long period of time. Nothing that anyone did wrong in the Southern Tier. It was a function of a shift in the economy, and this state in the Southern Tier was about manufacturing, and then manufacturing was moved overseas, and no one figured out what to do with those parts of the country that were dedicated to manufacturing. And it's not just the Southern Tier. You're seeing it all across this country. It's one of the things that's fueling the anger that you hear about and you feel in the electorate in this election. You gave away the manufacturing jobs, but what happened to all those people in regions that were in that business? And we talk about an economic transition and transition to a new economy. Well, where was the help in doing that? Southern Tier, the logical partner in that economic transformation should have been the state of New York. State of New York should have said to the Southern Tier and other parts of upstate New York, you know what? Manufacturing left, we're going to step in and be a partner and help you find your way to the new economy. That's what the state government should have done. State government did not do that. And I've been candid about this from day one. It doesn't make me proud. But the state government was too focused on downstate New York. Why? Because that's where the majority of the legislators come from. I can say it, I'm from downstate New York, but it's that simple. New York State Assembly, most of them come from downstate New York. Senate, downstate New York or Long Island. So that was their natural focus. And upstate New York got the short end of the stick for many, many years. So there was no one to help upstate New York make the transformation. So the Southern Tier, you're losing manufacturing jobs, you're losing the essence of what your economy was all about, you look to the state, and they're of no assistance. We changed that 180 degrees. We have invested billions and billions of dollars in upstate New York over the past 6 years. Why? Number one, because it was the right thing to do. Number two, because it's the smart thing to do. I say to the people in downstate New York, look, at the end of the day, we are one state. Upstate, downstate, we're one state. We're one economy. The better upstate New York does, the better for downstate also. Otherwise, downstate is going to have to pay the bill for upstate. So to invest in upstate is actually smart for everyone. And number one was also right. It was the right thing to do on a moral level, a community level, because we are one state. And when one region of this state needs help, the other regions have always been there. So if we have to transform the upstate economy, then we should all be there together. And that's what it's been about. And that's what the URI is about, and the Regional Economic Development Councils are all about, and the economic investment programs that we've been running. And you see that the arrows are now pointed in a different direction. You don't see the out-migration. You see more businesses, more jobs coming back. You look at the Binghamton University School of Pharmacy. Look at Dick's Sporting Goods coming to the southern tier. Modern media. You look at the increase in tourism that we've invested in, and we're getting a tremendous return now. So the investment to transfer to a new economy, it works. A key component of that is the airport. Why? Because it is the front door of the community. We talk about a global economy. We talk about tourism. The airport matters. And it's not an airport of 30 years ago. This is not where you go with your family and you get on the plane and you go to Florida and you come back. This is about business. This is about economic development. That airport is the first stop in that region's economy. You want to be competitive globally, people are flying in. And that airport, they expect to be able to land, have all the amenities, go to a restaurant, have a business meeting, maybe a conference center. They want those amenities in that airport if you really want to be competitive. And that's why the commissioner's point was, we need to rebuild the upstate airports. So the legislature, in their wisdom, allocate money to upstate airport revitalization. We then hold a competition. County executive is exactly right. Nobody likes the competitions. They say, just give me the money. I say, no. We're going to have a competition. Why? Number one, because we are very responsible with taxpayer dollars. And we've been reducing state taxes in this administration every year. And if we're going to spend $1, we have to make sure we get the best bang for that dollar. And you know what the competition does? Exactly what the county executive said. You know you're competing against other regions. It brings up the quality of your game. You forget the partisan differences. You forget the geographic differences. And you say, hey guys, we're all in this together. We're either going to win or we're going to lose. We have to come together because we're competing against other places. You forge partnerships with the private sector. And it brings up the quality of the product. And that's what this is about, because we want to invest in the best plans. So we had a competition for the best transformation plans for airports in upstate New York. We had 16 applications came in for the first round. There were 2 winners of the 16, just to give you an idea of how the competition works, okay? So it's the 2 best of the 16. Obviously, you are one of the 2, otherwise I would not be standing here with an airplane behind me. Second question was, how much of the requested amount did you win? Now, your total transformation plan was a $58 million plan. $58 million to build literally an airport of tomorrow, which is exactly right. And the plan won the competition. It's ambitious. It has a real vision. And kudos to everyone who worked on the plan. Of the $58 million, you asked for $40 million from the state of the 58. The other $18 million were going to come from other sources from the airport. I'm pleased to inform you, because of the job you did and the product you submitted, of that $58 million, you asked for $40 million. Your plan won all $40 million. Congratulations, and you deserve it. Pleasure.
Well, good morning, and I am very excited to be here, and now you know why. And that's why you're all excited as well, and I appreciate the governor's kind words about me in this process. But the truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you with all sincerity, the person who came up with the idea, who's been driving it from day one, who's been calling me every day on it, is Governor Cuomo. Give him another big round of applause. So we've talked about, and you've heard the governor speak about transformative steps that have been taking place now the last couple years, particularly under the governor's administration, and how we are now transforming this airport, and really transforming this airport to be the front door to the new world. But while we do that, I think it's important that we take a step back, because for all of us that call Upstate home, or here in the southern tier, or if you're up in Syracuse, we know that for decades we had been ignored. You heard the governor talk about it. State government candidly failed. It failed to recognize what we needed to help keep our families intact, to keep our economy moving, and to help us prepare for the future. You know, thankfully, we have a governor who recognizes that, who gave his word on day one in his new administration and said that he was going to invest in Upstate, and he has done that every day that he's been governor. You know, this administration, as I've mentioned, has made Upstate a priority. It's really helping us transform the Upstate economy from yesterday and position us smartly for tomorrow. And really, it's a different approach. It's a very different day. It's not the same old top-down Albany programs that have been forced upon communities across Upstate. Rather, it's a smarter program, because the governor understands that it's about building consensus. It's a ground-up approach, building regional partnerships with academia, business, and government to plan for long-term smart investments that will bring a return on those investments. And it's working. The facts are indisputable. The regional economic development councils are implementing those new growth strategies. They're making a big difference here in the southern tier and across upstate New York. Right here, Netflix, Crown Holdings, new jobs, new opportunity, more jobs, brighter future. You heard the governor mention Dick's Sporting Goods. They're coming home. They're investing $100 million back into the region, creating now over 400 new good-paying jobs right here at home in this region. Attendance at Watkins Glen, you know what? Watkins Glen was kind of forgotten about for a long time. This governor stepped in, made key investments. They've increased their attendance by 65% since 2011. And you know what that means? That means more people are coming to this region, more people are coming here, staying in the hotels, spending their money in the restaurants, and adding to the economy here. It's good for everyone. This summer, the city of Elmira won $10 million. Mayor, you gotta be smiling. Come on, Mayor, smile. It's okay. That is huge. That is huge. $10 million to really allow the mayor and the city to plan for the future. People are moving back to downtowns, to urban areas, large and small. It's $10 million that I know is going to go a long way in helping do that. Over the last 6 years, thousands of new jobs have been created here. You can see jobs are up. It's a fact. Unemployment is down. No doubt about it. It's working. Today, we're taking the next big step. Because when you want to grow, what's a big key, right? It's transportation. You need to be able to get to a place, from a place. You need to allow people to have access to get to you and for you to move around. If people can't get to a region, the fact of the matter is the region can't grow. It's as simple as that. We've started really investing under the governor's leadership back in 2012 and pouring a lot of money into the upstate regions from the Department of Transportation. Here in this region, we've invested about $1.5 billion since 2012. We've got lots of more work planned for the future here as well. But when you talk about a global economy and you talk about opening up an area such as that's so beautiful and has such wonderful assets, you really need to make sure it can connect to global opportunities. You need to have a state-of-the-art air transportation network. The airports of tomorrow are destinations in and of themselves. They're not like today. They're very, very different. They're not just terminals anymore. They have retail, they have dining, and they have meeting rooms. Why? Because people find it convenient to fly into regions, have their meetings, have a meal, and then they fly out. It's important to have that asset for this airport. And given the threats we face today, and sadly we were reminded this past weekend, the county executive mentioned it, airports have to be equipped with state-of-the-art security technology and protocol. It's a must. It's a must. We're building a new airport rising out of the ground now at LaGuardia. We're planning already for the redesign of JFK. And as you heard the governor mention this year, the state set out to find the best plans to rebuild upstate airports. The competition was held, $200 million competition. We've talked about this to stimulate the economy, to increase aircraft gate, baggage, and parking capacity, and include, again, state-of-the-art passenger amenities and security measures as well. And consistent with the governor's really energy agenda, designs must incorporate sustainable buildings and renewable energy technologies. Why? Because it saves you money. It saves the airport money. And those are revenues that the airport can put back into the airport to market itself, to help airlines as well. The airport plans incorporated innovative design concepts, again, promoting and leveraging those public-private partnerships with the ability to get it done quickly. That was key. That was key. And if you know anything about this governor and this administration, it's not just about saying you've got a plan, but it's about making it happen. The applications opened on May 27th, closed July 1. The governor mentioned the 16 airports, and that's why we're here today. This airport is home to 3 airports, actually, but the Elmira Corning Airport, this airport handles 50% of all of the traffic in and out of this region. This was built back in the 60s, and over the last 5 years, traffic has increased by 25%. And I think that is significant, but it also demonstrates and points to the activity that's been taking place the last 5-6 years. Things are happening here. So we want to prepare this region to continue that growth. It hasn't been renovated in over 25 years. It's cramped, it's outdated. Passengers are sometimes forced to walk onto the tarmac to board their aircraft, particularly in the winter, and you can't even get a cup of coffee after clearing security. It's really not an airport that expresses a region, the southern tier region, which is on the move. So today we're announcing the transformation of this regional airport. Again, steps to transforming our increased capacity for growth and improve the passenger experience. Going from this to this, a new airport with 25% more space to become the new gateway to the southern tier. We're raising the concourse and adding 2 new jet bridges for a total of 4. No more walking outside in the winter, 4 jet bridges so you have direct access to your flights. No more, well, I said it. No more walking on the tarmac. We're building a second baggage belt to claim and handle increased volumes, which of course we continue to see grow, and 300 new parking spaces as well. The airport adds new cafe and retail for travelers and visitors prior to the security gates, but also after. I mentioned you couldn't get a cup of coffee. Now you'll be able to get a cup of coffee and more with a 3,000 square foot restaurant and bar. So when you're waiting for your flights, you'll have a place to sit and have something to eat. The new airport allows passengers to experience really what is one of the most beautiful areas of the state the moment that they set foot here. From the journey going from this to this. Looks a little better, huh? The central component here is really delivering a new experience with the full glass. It's really going to allow people to see the beautiful surroundings. When the governor and I were just walking in and we landed over here, you know, you look out and you see just such beautiful, beautiful countryside. It really is breathtaking, and folks will be able to enjoy that. Building in geothermal and photovoltaic systems, of course, is going to continue to reduce cost to the airport, very important. It's going to feature a new open interior, so going from this to this. Efficient energy LED lighting, which is going to, again, help reduce cost. It's better lighting. Programmable glass walls will feature flight information and wayfinding. Everybody will be able to see it, whether you're coming or going. State-of-the-art security cameras, increased visibility for officials to monitor passenger space. Very important to have good, clean sight lines when you're in an airport. And of course, all of you and the major players here in this community have expressed unified support for this plan. The redevelopment plan is going to ignite over 1,100 new construction jobs. And we are awarding, as the governor already announced, $40 million to this airport for a $58 million plan. Elmira Airport is no longer going to be the airport of yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. It's really going to be the airport for the future. This is now the front door to the southern tier. So welcome to the new Elmira Corning Regional Airport. So, it's a great day for the southern tier, and I want to congratulate all the folks that worked with the DOT people on this. You did a fantastic job, as the governor commented. And I also want to now introduce somebody that I've had the privilege to work with in my capacity as Commissioner of the Department of Transportation. It's been very supportive. I have to tell you, he's very dogged, calling me often, always wanting to know what we're doing here, not only in his district, but across the southern tier. I want to welcome to the stage a great friend I know here in the southern tier, to the governor, and to me, to the Department of Transportation, Senator Tom O'Mara.
Wow, what a great day. You know, it wasn't that long ago when we were standing in the airport announcing that we won the URI just a few months ago. So what great news. Governor, thank you so much for being here in Chemung County with us today. Your leadership with the economic development of upstate New York has been fantastic. Your attention to the southern tier. You know, when I started in the legislature, in the assembly, you know, everybody used to talk about downstate, Long Island, the North Country, the Hudson Valley, Western New York, and I'd be in the back saying, what about southern tier? And they'd be like, oh yeah, southern tier too. Yep, forgot to mention that. And they wouldn't, every time, year after year. Well, southern tier is well known now, and I've been dogged about that to make sure that we're on the map. And working with my colleagues in the State Assembly, Phil Palmisano and Chris Friend, that are here today, I want to thank you for your continued advocacy and hard work on behalf of the southern tier and all of our constituents here. County Executive Santulli, your leadership is, you know, goes without say. Frankly, you've been a fantastic leader and a spokesman for the entire southern tier, not just Chemung County, where you're the county executive. It's been a pleasure to work with Commissioner Driscoll over the years, and certainly with Governor Cuomo, with all the work we've done for the regional councils. My good friend who was ahead of our finance in the state senate, Robert Mahica, who's here, is now the governor's budget director. So it's good to have a connection in that office as well, I can tell you. It's good to have you here with us, Robert. But the mayors of the Elmira Corning Regional Airport, Mayors Negri, Mayor Mandel, it's just great. This is fantastic for the entire region. It's truly a regional airport. Someone mentioned earlier as we're getting ready, they said, what, do Italians run everything around here? But thankfully we brought Driscoll in, but I think we're bookended by a couple Italians on each side. But we have some representation here for the Irish as well. But you know, this $58 million project is certainly going to create one heck of a welcome mat for us here in Chemung County and the entire southern tier and southern Finger Lakes region, which has been booming. We've done a lot over the years through the regional council programs. The southern tier under the co-leadership of our very own Tom Tranter, who was unable to be with us today. We've been a top winner in 4 of the first 5 regional council awards here in the Southern Tier. And that shows the governor's commitment and following through on his acknowledgement that the Southern Tier needs assistance to get things moving again. And I think we're on that right track. Winning the URI, as I said, the Downtown Revitalization Initiative for Elmira. The announcement a few weeks ago of continued 2 more years of Indy racing at Watkins Glen International, the great economic engine that track is. The work that the governor has done in his leadership on our winery and craft beverage industry has been fantastic, with streamlining and reducing regulations and making it easier to license the craft beverage products through distilling, cideries, breweries, our wine industry, and the great tourism that comes with all of that throughout the fabulous Finger Lakes. But it's not just about investing state dollars into these projects, because the requirement is, the baseline is, that all these projects must average through the regional council. It's a 20% state funding in that, 80% private investment. So this is leveraging a lot of private investment in all of these projects throughout the Southern Tier. But we also have to make New York State competitive again. And nobody said it better than Governor Cuomo, that New York State has no future as the tax capital of the nation. The governor said it time and time again, and I hold him to that commitment as we continue to work on things. And what are a few things we've done? We have held state spending to under 2% for 6 years in a row under Governor Cuomo's leadership. We have eliminated the corporate tax on manufacturing entities in New York State to help make New York State more competitive of a business climate for manufacturing, and that is helping. This year in the state budget, working with the legislature, the governor, we've instituted a 20% state income tax cut that will be phased in over the next 5 years. These are some huge things that we've done going forward to lessen the burden on business and individuals for the cost of living in New York State. This is just absolutely thrilling and fantastic to have been a part of this great announcement today. You know, it comes as a surprise. When we heard there was going to be 4 or only 5 winners throughout the state, we're like, okay. Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany. Some were like, you know, what are we going to do here in little Elmira Corning and get that? But our leaders here put together a fantastic project, a $58 million renovation of the entire airport here. As I said, it's a great welcome mat to everybody coming here to the Southern Tier. Thank you all for being here today to participate in this great announcement. Governor, most of all you for being here. My Assembly colleagues, and I'll introduce now Assemblyman Phil Palmisano to say a few words.
Good morning. Usually when I follow the senator, I'm in my head checking off things that I was going to say that he says before me. So my speech will be a little bit more brief, but also an announcement for Senator O'Meara and Commissioner Driscoll. Although I am an Italian, I do have a little bit of Irish in me too. So I just wanted to, just for the record. But really, just good morning, everyone. This is just an incredible day. Welcome, certainly Governor Cuomo, Commissioner Driscoll, County Executive Santulli, our mayors Mandel and Negri, and certainly my colleagues, Budget Director Mahica, good to see you again, and certainly my colleagues in state government, Senator Tom O'Meara and Assemblyman Chris Friend. We work together all the time to fight for this region, and to have an announcement like this is just really rewarding and good to hear. Governor, thank you for being here, not just to make the announcement, but for your commitment to this transformational $40 million investment in the Elmira Corning Airport. This will enhance the passenger experience, security, technology, and address the needs of our business community. And Governor, we appreciate your focus on Upstate through the Economic Development Councils and the Upstate Revitalization Initiative. I should have just said URI, and it would have been a lot easier. We appreciate your attention to Upstate, and we continue looking forward to working with you in the future to make sure our Upstate needs, and particularly here in the Southern Tier and Finger Lakes, are addressed. So thank you. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank Governor Cuomo for your continued leadership and partnership, working with the state legislature to improve our state and local infrastructure. whether it's our roads and bridges and programs like CHIPS and Pave New York and Bridge New York, which drives the money right to our local communities to help the local property taxpayers, improving our water and sewer systems, or investments in mass transit and airports as we're celebrating here today. These investments are not only important to improve public safety, but they're critically important to foster private sector investment, economic development, and job creation, not only here in our region, but throughout the state. So this is a great day. It's great to be a part of it, and I look forward to continuing to working with my colleagues in the legislature, you, Governor, and all of our local officials to help improve the Southern Tier of Finger Lakes and all of Upstate and all of New York State in the future. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here, and what a great day.
I need to step. I stopped growing about 60 years ago, so I learned it the hard way. But the top of your hair looked good. You got to use the step, Phil. Okay. Well, I hope this is enough for one day. Let me just wrap up by saying this, and I will be brief. I know people have to get back to work. Again, thank you for coming. You know, the governor and his staff have opened a ton of doors for us, but success doesn't come just with money. It just doesn't. It takes hard work. It takes you as citizens in this community, many of you business leaders, government leaders, you know, and I really mean this. You know, success is a word that we don't use enough, but success is hard work. And that's what this is all about. When we leave here today, pictures were terrific. I mean, you could look at that and say, my gosh, this and Elmira Corning. I think we have earned the right. You know, as the governor said, this is 50% of the business of the Southern Tier. You know, we are the place that flies to Florida nonstop in 2 locations, and if you're patient, we're going to have more. We are the place that flies 5 planes every day, Delta to Detroit, first-rate, first-class jets, regional jets, RJs. I believe American is going to grow here. And this airport, what the governor's allowing us to do today, is going to show that. I think that we will land back in Chicago, and we were in Atlanta. We're going to get those back. We're going to get those back for a bunch of reasons. One is, and you know, we've got a lot of talent working for us, and I didn't recognize Mike Cruzen as the new president of Southern Tier Economic Growth, working hard, and with his staff and with his people to make it happen. Because the only way it works, and I mean it, the only way it works is for us to create the environment and bring the people here to make it. The money certainly opens the door. We have a lot to do. So let's do it, and do it together. And Governor, you know, you only can say thank you so many times, but I'm going to keep saying it. You have been great to the Southern Tier. You've been great to this community. And we've got the message, and believe me, we're going to run with it. Thank you very much.